Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the panel discussion, one of the exciting panel discussions, I would say, on the topic disruption by blockchain and the related opportunities and challenges. To introduce myself, and thank you, Aishwarya, for introducing me. My name is Ashik again. I work with Citibank. And we have an expert, incredibly expert, I would say, three panelists. I would request the panelists to give a 30 seconds introduction, which she did not cover. Starting with Mr. Ramesh, please.
Hello, I'm audible. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Ramesh Momin. I am in UAE from last 18 years, but over 2 decades into banking, wealth management, and private banking space. I have worked with some top organizations like American Express, HSBC, Citibank, UBS, and have my own firm, India FC, Oxford Bridge Capital Limited. So this is about me, all experience into banking, financial services. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramesh. Mr. Omar, please.
I am into mostly trading. So I started as a trader in the Indian equity markets. Then after that, I got into the crypto markets and the forex markets. So I adapted very quickly because I have strong belief in these markets that are emerging. And I am also one of the biggest finance creators in India with a YouTube channel named The Alpha Trader. So that's all about me. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, Shahid.
Hello everyone, this is Mohammad Shahid. I'm the CEO for Collateral Bit. We are a cryptocurrency and NFT metaverse consulting company based here in Dubai. And we are working with a lot of projects in UAE. We help our customers to design and develop a project in the NFT space. And we also help them build communities around it.
Thank you, Shahid. Before we start, I would just like to see a show of hands. I mean, how many of you understand the term blockchain? Can I see a show of only 3, 4 people? You have heard about blockchain. Okay, thank you. Let me rephrase. How many of you have heard about cryptos, NFTs, metaverse? Wow, everybody knows about cryptos. Thank you. So just to give you a feedback of the audience, I mean, we do not want to use technical jargons here. We would take the discussion in terms of the common man understanding. So we'll be talking in a layman's perspective. That's fine, right? Fine or no? Yes. So just to begin with, see, we are hearing a lot of buzzwords, as you can see, cryptos, Web 3.0, NFTs, metaverse, DeFi, DAOs. These are the buzzwords. Wherever you see media, any media, newspaper, it is covering. So if you can just let us know in layman's, in very common man's understanding, what exactly is blockchain? You can, I don't know, you can start with Mr. Ramesh.
Yeah, so basically, I'm a traditional banker. Like others, even I have some time back, I also never used to know what is blockchain, what are all this terminology. But I think just to make it in a very simple way, like a layman, I would say the blockchain has a broader potential to be utilized more than cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency is just one part of the blockchain. And all the companies are exploring the ways where they can use blockchain to expand and to be innovative and to evolve in their business. So in my thing is basically, the blockchain is basically a problem that needs to be solved by inability of 2 parties to transact directly with one another without the need of the third party verification. So 2 parties involved for a transaction, they don't want the third party to be involved in the transaction, but still they want a verification of the transaction. That is where the blockchain comes into picture. So you don't need the third party to verify, still the transaction can go through with much more surety, security, and transparency.
Thank you. Mr. Umar.
So just to keep things very simple, blockchain is exactly what the name suggests. It's a chain of blocks. Now those blocks can be transactions or pieces of information. But the beauty of blockchain is that no one can possibly delete what's on the blockchain. So once it's added, it cannot be altered. Only you can only add to the blockchain. So which makes sure that the data is always available to the public and never editable or alterable.
Great stuff. Mr. Shahid.
Yeah, so let me simplify. I don't know how many of you remember in the olden days, if you take a loan from someone, you go to this guy who keeps a ledger, right? He keeps a ledger of how much loan is taken by whom and how much is repaid back. Now let's put this into the digital world. That blockchain is nothing but it's a digital ledger, and it is open. So whatever you write on the blockchain is a single transaction. So let's say you borrowed money from someone, and it's written on the blockchain. And you gave money to someone else, it is also written on the blockchain. So every transaction is written in a sequential manner. So you cannot change the previous transaction. If you want to change the previous transaction, you need to change all the transactions leading to it. This is the major difference. So it's an open ledger, decentralized, cannot be changed, and open for everyone to see and view the details. So in the blockchain space, we always say the double spending problem. So the double spending problem is that if I give you a coupon, and I also give you the same coupon to someone else to use, and the first person will use the coupon, and the second person will try to redeem, but it will not be used, right? This is what would happen eventually. But in the blockchain space, what happens when I give you the first coupon, it's on the blockchain, and when I try to give you the same coupon, the second person can see that this coupon is already being used, right? And this is why it's called so secure, and you don't need any centralized authority to tell someone that, okay, this transaction, is it correct or wrong? But they can see it for themselves. This is how the blockchain is playing major role. And the authenticity that this cannot be changed, right? So usually, if you are working in the software field, you know there is an admin who has access to go and change anything on any software. But here, there is no admin. So let's say if you want to change the fifth transactions, and now you are doing the 20th transaction, you will have to go back and change all the transactions from 20th to 5th. And this is why blockchain is so secure.
Great. That's great. I hope you are getting the discussion correctly, right? Also, so you mentioned, I understood what is blockchain. And so what opportunities, for the common man's perspective, again, what are the opportunities that you see? I think you can start, Shahid. What opportunities see from the common man's perspective? I mean, where are the uses?
Yes, so for example, you have to understand that we know that there is Web 1.0, right? In the earlier days, you were working on black screen. Now there is Web 2.0, where you have web pages and you are doing e-commerce. And we had the previous session, it was talking all about e-commerce, right? Now we are moving to Web 3.0. The difference here is that it's a decentralized world, right? I don't need to know who you are, but if you want to sell anything on the blockchain, you can sell it as an NFTs or as a coins or as utilities on the blockchain. And these items will have significant importance. So let's make it more simple for the audience. Let's say you are a business, right? I don't know how many of you read the recent news that Nike has launched their Ravi Adidas shoes collection. And it was and people are buying it at 45,000 dirhams in the secondary market, right? If you try to look at this, is basically Nike, they have launched the NFT collection, and there is a community. And with the community, there are people who wants to buy this specific item, right? I'm sorry, it was Adidas, right? Adidas. Sorry, it was Adidas. So basically, here you create a utility, and people can buy this. And why people are buying this? Because they want to be a part of this executive committee, right? All the people who are in this community have access to this specific kind of model. So you can say that blockchain can be applied to a lot of businesses, but you need to look at what use case you are going to solve, right? And a lot of time, people will come and say that I have this business. How can I implement blockchain into this? So you have to always look that are there multiple parties being part of this single transactions, right? And if there are multiple parties, how you can bring consensus? Maybe you agree and I don't agree, right? And Umar agrees and someone else does not agree. So this is how you have to look at the consensus mechanism also when you're building an application. So blockchain is right now being applied to a lot of use cases, especially if you look in Dubai, you have the police project where they are doing, if you lose your passport, they can immediately issue a new passport.
Your company is doing that, I believe, right? The NFTs for the Dubai police.
Yes. Okay. So you can get a passport, and the entire transaction is happening on the blockchain because there are so many authorities which are involved. And the full journey for the user, he's using an app and doing it. But at the back end, if you see, there is the municipal courts and all the third-party entities. And the journey is very seamless. And I don't know if a lot of people use UAE Pass if UAE the entire backend is built on blockchain, basically. So there are so many entities sharing data, and the data is being shared on the blockchain,
Okay.
and make sure that this is the original transaction, and the validity of the transaction is there till the end of the service is delivered.
From Omar's point of view, from the trading perspective,
So I'm sure everyone knows that we are living in the age of information. So that exactly what blockchain simplifies, as the previous discussion was. So it is definitely, the opportunities are endless, whether it's the finance industry, whether it's insurance, whether it's healthcare, whether it's education. Just to give you guys another example, just like Shahid did, nowadays now colleges, universities, they are starting to give out degrees as NFTs. So if you get a normal degree, you could lose it, you could damage it. But if you have a degree in your NFT, it's always secure on the blockchain.
great. From the traditional banker's perspective,
Yeah, I think there are lots of opportunities which can be created in blockchain because of its features, what it has. Like just now he mentioned about the distribution part of it. So it's an open ledger, you have consensus, you have security, you have transparency, you have a faster way of communication, verification process, and you can very fast multiply your reach. So I think these are all the features what blockchain has, which can be used in any of the areas, and then you can develop from there. Where every sector is actually exploring where they can get in via using blockchain.
great. I think we are running out of time because we have only 20 minutes time and it's already 10 minutes past. What are the challenges what you see, like, going forward? Everybody's talking about blockchain, cryptos. So what challenges do you see from again, from the common man's perspective? How to gain the traction, I mean?
So in any business, I think the biggest challenge is adoption, right? If there is any technology, the adoption is the first big challenge. And let's say 5 years back, or let's say 10 years back, nobody was using Facebook, right? It's a project that a bunch of kids were using it, and the teenagers started using it. Then now you see that everybody was on Facebook, right? Because the experience is so seamless. So what happens, the challenge is adoption, right? So this is the biggest challenge. For now, there are a lot of platforms for metaverse, for NFTs, but you have to see which platform has the highest number of audience and engagement. Because tomorrow, that will become the norm, right? Everybody will be there, and you will be there because your friends are there, right? Okay. And this is the first big challenge. The second challenge is how you can make the customer experience so seamless and easy to use that you could do anything with 2 or 3 clicks, right? So just to relate it more, right? If you try to explain someone in order to send an email, if you have to do 10 steps, then barely people would send an email. And these days, if you see, a lot of businesses, I think it's very funny that they would say, send me on WhatsApp. They don't even want to wait to send it in an email. And this is the narrative we are going. And why Web3 is being picking up, right? That's a very big, important question that we should ask, why people are using Web3. The biggest difference is that you could do a transaction instantly, right? So today, your data is with Facebook, your data is with a lot of third-party companies, but you don't get paid for it, right? But in the Web3 world, whatever you create, let's say you created a picture, right? You created a basic art. This can be created as an NFT and sold. And there will be someone who will be willing to buy. And you can monetize directly. You don't need any third party, right?
Got it.
So this is the key part of it. And then there will be a lot of communities around it and trying to do a lot of good stuff. And see, there are a lot of challenges, right? That's why we always say that there are a lot of challenges and you have to do your own due diligence. A very, very important term. And you will always hear that the Beeple art was sold for $69 million. But you should also ask yourself the same question, right? How many other arts on big platforms like OpenSea are not selling, right? So we can hear one success story and then we can say, oh, it's amazing. And then suddenly you see that the market is crashing and you say, well, why the market is crashing, right? And you would always see that there is always a hype in the market and there is a season where there are people who are building great products and these products are being used later on. And this is what I see is a thing. And especially for the audience, if you are looking to invest or get into Web3, I would say evaluate the project, evaluate the founders, who are the people behind it. Okay. Right? This is a very important aspect. And this will be the big challenge because the space is growing so fast. Right? Every day there are like 20 new projects. And
people say one day in blockchain is equivalent to 1 year or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That much developments are happening worldwide. From the traditional, again, we do have central banks to govern us, right? For the Citibank is governed by Central Bank of. So from the regulatory perspective, how do you think? We say that it's decentralized. So is this a challenge or?
So I think what biggest challenge what I see is the implementation of blockchain and the timeline of its success.
Okay.
Because these are the two biggest challenge. Because there are a lot of failures also in this. While they are implementing blockchain, there are a lot of failures, and there are a few success cases. But blockchain has come to transform the entire landscape, the way we see this world. But yes, when is the question mark? Maybe years, maybe decades. Implementation, whether it will fail, whether it will be right. So I think it's a continuous evolution, what we need to do, what we need to see. And yes, there will be challenges. These two challenge, I think, is going to be the biggest because industry to industry it will differ, especially on the financial side. Because of the regulation, you cannot just say that you have made something right.
From the trading perspective again, like,
So I believe it's very similar to the dot-com bubble because like Shahid said, that every other day a new project comes. So one of the biggest challenges is going to be regulations. There needs to be a regulatory body that audits and that filters out the projects that don't actually have a true value to them. Because even nowadays, even one of the highest virtual assets in the markets can absolutely vanish the next day. So regulation is one of the biggest challenges. The next challenge that I see is taxation laws. There are laws, but they are still very unclear. So as someone who is active in the markets, virtual asset markets or blockchain, you still don't have any clear direction as to how you're supposed to look at it from the taxation point of view.
Okay, thank you. If I'm not wrong, like you are the company owner, like there's a Meta Terrace. I don't know how many of you have heard about a Meta Terrace, a Metaverse restaurant in DIFC? Have you heard about it? No. There is a restaurant, Metaverse restaurant in DIFC, and his company has done it. So you want to say something about this?
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know if they can play the video.
Ah, there is a video. Okay. If you can play the video, please. You need the VR glasses for?
No, it should be fine.
It's fine. Okay.
So what you guys are seeing here is that we have a physical restaurant, and for this physical restaurant, we have created a metaverse version of it. So let's say you are in your house and your friend is at Meta Terrace, and you would like to join him. You can have the VR headsets, and you can join and have the same experience as him. And you can see that this is the same physical space, and we have the view of the Burj from the Meta Terrace. And you can see the laser show, the flying cars. And whenever there is an event that is happening in the Meta Terrace, live event, we are going to broadcast this to the audience in the metaverse. So let's say if you have the headset, you wear the headset, and you can join the event. And you can also interact with the people in the Meta Terrace and the people who are also joining you virtually.
Great. I've been there, by the way. It's amazing. If you have a chance, you should visit there. I mean, there are specific events. I think there is a Danny Alves event also happening.
Yes, exactly. So just to tell you more that what we have done, we'll tell you a real use case. Let them finish this video, and I will explain to them more what is happening.
Okay. Thank you. And we'll have 2 minutes for the question and answer session. So I would request the audience if you have any questions, because we are running out of time. It's a subject is so vast, we can discuss all through the day and night about this, but we'll have to abide by the time as well. So I will take 1 or 2 questions from the audience. If somebody can pass the minds, I can see you can raise your hands and make the question very specific in 15 to 20 seconds, please.
Sure. Can we have the second video?
So back in 2011, I bought Bitcoin and sold it for 1,153%. So I bought it for 260 and sold it for 3,000 dirhams. So my question to you today is it the right time to buy or sell cryptos?
Okay. If I'm correct, like, you're asking the perspective of the crypto. I mean, I would say this is not the forum for discuss that. We can keep a separate forum to discuss it. But what I would say is, like any traditional asset classes, even if it's stocks, equities, mutual funds, it all goes through a cycle. Goes up and down. It's a cycle. I would say, like, I am a trader by myself. I've been trading since almost 2-3 years now. So whenever Bitcoin touches 65,000, the top, people ask me how to buy it. But when the same guys, when it touches 20,000, they don't want to buy. They said, I told you, it will come down. So this is always there. When I started my career with ICICI Bank, we used to, like, that time stocks were not that popular or mutual funds were not that popular. So when I ask about to them to invest, they would say, no, it's gambling. I mean, stocks are gambling. It's the same with all the asset classes. People take, I mean, there is always a resistance to change, right? People don't want to accept the change because we think in a specific pattern, our minds are tuned to a specific pattern, and we don't want to disturb it. So when there is a disturbance, there is an uncertainty, and uncertainty leads to fear. So people prefer to stay in that comfort zone, right? If you differ, if you
Yeah.
can, if there is
So
any
basically,
difference.
if you look at the video which is going on, we have the football star, Dani Alves. He's in Dubai. He will be there on 28th. So Dani is one of the most decorated players in football. He has won like 43 cups. And for each cup, we have partnered with Bacchus and Strauss. It's a diamond watch manufacturer. And they have created a watch for each cup. So there are 43 watches. And these 43 watches are being done as an NFT. So there are 3 types of NFTs. There is a regular NFT, which you can buy and you can get a chance to meet him. And there are other benefits which come along. And there is a fractional NFTs. So there are 5 NFTs, like 5 cups that are very dear to Danny. He doesn't want people to have them. And these 5 watches will be stored as a collection, and people will get fractional ownership. So you can spend like $1,000 and you get a fractional ownership of this watch. And there is 1:1, which is the premium NFTs. So each watch is like $150,000. It's a diamond watch with the cup engraved in it. And you can buy the NFT and you also get the physical watch. Right? So you can see that this is the legendary of Dani Alves, which has been converted. A person looks back to his history and he creates them as watches and NFTs, right? And this is going to stay forever. So the people who will buy these watches and the NFT, they will get a chance to meet him. And he's also going to launch his VR room, where he's showcasing his moments, his trophies, and everything. And he will be one of the first footballers to do this. And he will be here on 28th. So if you would like to join in, you can join us at Meta Terrace.
Sure. On 28th, it's happening, right?
Yes, okay.
Any other question, please? I hope that's clear, right? You want to add something from the trader perspective? He was asking about the cycles of the prices going up and down. I mean,
Prices of the crypto.
it's fine. It's fine.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. So, see, again, the reason the price is so volatile is, again, we don't have any regulatory body. So if we do get a regulatory body, that will be possible in the near future to at least get some grip or control over how volatile the price is and protect investors' money. But again, if you look at how the crypto or the virtual asset cycle works, these type of corrections are very normal every 4 years. So if you check the past 12-year data, this is absolutely normal and nothing surprising.
Yeah, also just to add to the point, if you look at the graph, like a lot of people are monitoring the market for a very short period, right? You say, okay, the Bitcoin price was 65,000 8 to 9 months back, today is 20,000, right? You're only looking at a data which is of 9 months. Now, if you go back to the history and look at from the last 11 years, from 2009 onwards, and you look at the graph, you will see that there is always a spike and it falls. And there is a spike again. After 2 years, you see a spike and then it falls. And there are relevant events that are happening, right? So there is halving that happens. So you have to understand the underlying technology, and then you will realize that this is normal. And it's a very funny conversation that I was having with one of the guys who trade in the crypto world, right? Who are day in, day out trying to understand the market, what is happening, who's buying, who's selling. They say that for me, it does not matter because yesterday I had 20 Bitcoins. Today I have 19.5 Bitcoin. And my intrinsic value is in Bitcoin. I'm not comparing it to its USD value, right? And when we do the same thing with the traditional stocks, is you're looking at the stock value over a period of 5 or 10 years, right? You're not looking at the stock value every day. Not looking how much the stock has changed every day. So this is what you have to look that if you're investing, and the safe bet is to do your due diligence. It's a very important part. Read the project about, and you will always have people who will try to do market manipulation. We call them whales, and I think in the Meta Terrace we showed you the whale flying, right? So these are the people who have large amount of Bitcoins with them. You have people with 5,000, 10,000 Bitcoins in their wallet, and they want to manipulate the market. right? And it happens in every market. So let's say if you own a share of a company and you own 50 or 60% of the shares, you have the power to manipulate the market, right? And more regulation will come in, and this will help. But I think you have to look at the long term. So if you're someone who wants to start investing now, you should see where I will be in the next 10 years. And don't go on full on, because full on is not the right term. You always want to invest the money that you can afford to lose, right?
Yeah.
And you have to think of it as like an investment, a long-term
Thanks.
investment. Like,
I think we are running out of time. I am getting signals to stop this thing. We can always take it offline. We are available here. We can always connect in person. And once again, thank you all for your time. And thank you, Gulf Madhyam, for your support and for organizing this. Thank you, panelists, as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.